Rep 4 of trying to do content creation despite my crippling perfectionism and fear of social judgment. And I am hoping that if I keep doing it, that eventually I will not have so much anxiety and fear of judgment, that I'll be able to be more authentic, right? Because I find that when I try and do this thing, when I've tried to do this in the past, and even right now, there's this piece of me that is so concerned with these quote-unquote negative outcomes that it feels like my ability to just be who I am and to flow becomes just off, and so it feels like there's just a piece that's off when I present, and I don't know how much of that is just in my head and how much is actually visible when I've tried to do it, right? But in any case, I'm gonna give it a go here. So yeah, what did I say, Rep 4? One of the things that I think that I would love to do with content creation is to be able to help people who are experiencing depression. Depression is one thing for me that hits very close, because I have battled this beast for so much of my life, mostly my late teens into my adulthood, and it's been brutal. It's been dark. It's been so hard, and it's felt hopeless at times where I don't know if it's gonna get better, and the loneliness, the isolation, the fear that it can be very discouraging. And as I have myself worked where I can, where I have the bandwidth to try and understand what is happening with depression. I don't have my glasses on, and I'm blind as a bat, which is a bad saying, because apparently bats have great vision. But yeah, as I've been able to, I've tried to study, to learn, what is it? What is depression? Right? I don't like when in mental health, these doctors, so-called doctors, that even is your real name, use these terms that have just soft definitions where it's that doesn't sound very technical. That sounds very almost woo-woo. It's what do you mean by that? Give me a hard science approach to mental health. And so that's really what I've been drawn to, are these frameworks and disciplines, or ologies, these, whatever you call them, these fields that integrate the hard sciences to try and understand mental health. And so systems theory applied to the human system, that's what I like. That is, to me, what seems most likely to affect better outcomes. And let's face it, the outcomes for mental health that our institutions are getting are not at all adequate. They are failing, in fact. So yeah, I would love if some of the content that I put out could reach just reach some people who are experiencing depression, and at one level just help someone feel maybe that they're not alone, and that you feeling terrible right now is not crazy, right? There are reasons for it, and it's not just a matter of you having a bad character of oh, you're just weak or broken. It's okay, look, maybe there's something to that, right? Maybe there are things in your life, I know there are things in my life, where you could be doing better, right? Where you just could be making better choices, where you are lazy, right? And also, we're so hard on ourselves. Can we be kind? Because if you walked out of your front door tomorrow morning, and I was your neighbor, and you saw me putting water in the gas tank of my car, And then later I was complaining about my car not working right. You'd be like, you think? You a stupid man. You're ruining your engine. You're putting water in the gas tank. That makes sense to us, right? That makes sense. We don't say, oh, like, what a terrible car. That's a car. The cars need fuel, right? And cars need oil. And cars need an intake of air. My singular friend on the other side of this mysterious magic line of the internet that I don't understand. I don't understand how the internet works, but like, we are hard systems. You know, like we obviously we're organic, and so we're not the same as like a car, but we're hard systems. We require inputs, and we give people terrible inputs and then put pressure on them to perform, and we don't educate ourselves as a society on what those inputs are. And so it's like, look, like, you could be doing better, you could be feeling better, you could be functioning better. Those are the two axes of change that I talked about in the previous video. You could be feeling better, you could be functioning better in the world, for sure. But don't think that there aren't reasons in terms of inputs to your system, right? So those are some things that I'd love to talk about in some of these videos, right? Like, are you actually getting quality air? Are you breathing? Holy oh my gosh. It's a massive bus that swung way into my lane. Grateful to be alive. Are you in a school or an office that does not have ventilated windows? Because chances are you are breathing in the air backwash from other people's lungs. Even if your building, your school or your office building, has world-class air purifiers, which I doubt it, chances are you're not getting enough oxygen. And our brain is a hungry hippo that, even though it is like 3% of our body weight, takes 20% of our oxygen, 20% of our other fuel, right? And so that's one input. Most of us modern apes have what's called email apnea, right? If you're sitting at a desk all day doing low-grade clerical work, you know, you're writing, you're on a laptop, chances are you're breathing shallow and you're not providing your nervous system with the most critical fuel, the most critical input. Try not breathing for 3 minutes. See how that goes for you, right? We talk about diet. We might even talk about water, but breathing matters. And most of us in modernity aren't doing it right? So, not to belabor the point too much, allow me to extricate my blood-covered boot from the dead horse I've been kicking. That's one input to attend to. And so if you're not feeling good, if you're not functioning properly, that's something we can look at. And so, maybe some of the videos that I'll make can talk about this, right? Like, here's the role of food as an input. So in order of most critical to least for our material, like matter inputs, breath, number one, and then water and food, right? Your brain, I think Dr. Amen was talking about this. Like, the brain is like, a lot of it, I'm not going to remember the exact percentages here. A lot of your brain is just water. And then of that bit of your brain that isn't water, a lot of it's fat. So making sure that your brain has omega-3s, like we'll talk, maybe I'll make some content that gets more detailed about this, but like, if you've processed your childhood and you're working out, you're doing these other things, and you're doing whatever it is your doctor says you should be doing, like, these are some things to consider. So anyway, this is how I look at it. A hard systems approach, a systems science approach to the human system. I call it anthromechanics, which patent pending. Like we've got auto mechanics, the understanding, the mechanical understanding of how a car works. We need the same for people. So anthromechanics, you heard it here first, or you heard it first from whoever plagiarizes this. But let's be sensible about it. Let's have the same level of rigor that we have for any other field with mental health. Okay, I'll end it there. If there's anyone who's watched this, thank you. I appreciate it. And I wish you well. I don't know you, but hang in there. Hang in there, I don't see you. I wish I could. Hang in there. You're doing better than you think you are. And yeah, that's all.